forget the gladiators of Hollywood cinema. Before Spartacus ever brandished a sword in the arena, there was a man who shook the Roman Empire to its absolute core, not with a blade, but with the power of illusion, mysticism, and literal fire. His name was Eunus. He wasn't a trained warrior. He was an enigmatic showman, a self-proclaimed prophet, and the mastermind behind the most spectacular rebellion the ancient world had ever seen. Our story begins at the height of the Roman Republic's conquest of the Mediterranean. As Rome's legions marched victorious, they dragged hundreds of thousands of war captives back in chains to be sold in the bustling slave markets. These souls were shipped to the massive slave-run agricultural estates, latifundia, of Sicily and Italy. To the wealthy Roman elites, these enslaved people were not human beings. In the cold, cruel eyes of Roman law, they were classified as nothing more than speaking tools, instrumenti vocals, worked to the bone under the lash of the whip. But as the fields of Sicily filled with tens of thousands of overworked, starving captives, the island became a ticking time bomb. All it needed was a single spark.
Faster!
That spark belonged to Eunus, a Syrian slave living in the mountaintop city of Enna. Eunus possessed a magnetic, almost hypnotic charisma. He told his fellow captives that he received divine visions from the Syrian mother goddess, a targetess who promised that one day their chains would be melted down to forge crowns. To his Roman masters, Eunus was just a harmless, amusing novelty. They would trot him out at dinner parties to perform his signature trick, breathing actual sparks of fire from his mouth. Eunus performed this by cleverly concealing a hollowed-out nutshell filled with burning embers inside his mouth, blowing through it to create a brilliant, fiery illusion. While the drunken masters laughed and cheered at the show, the enslaved spectators watching from the shadows saw something else entirely. To them, those sparks were not a party trick. They were the sacred, burning promise of their impending freedom. In 139 BC, the monstrous cruelty of a local Roman landowner pushed the slaves of Enna past their breaking point. Desperate, they ran to Eunus, asking if the gods favored a rebellion. Eunus blew a massive plume of fire into the night sky and declared, "The hour has come." That very night, the chains were shattered. The rebels seized the city of Enna, threw off their shackles, and proclaimed Eunus as their leader. But Eunus was no mere bandit chief. He crowned himself King Antiochus, establishing a fully functioning royal court, a governing council, and a highly organized army.
The consuls must act.
Back in Rome, the arrogant senators scoffed. Are we to march against a ragtag army of shepherds and farmers? They laughed. But those shepherds and farmers quickly annihilated every Roman legion sent to crush them. The Sicilian Slave War became the longest-running slave rebellion in Roman history, holding Rome's vital Mediterranean grain supply hostage for 7 bloody years. By 132 BC, the humiliation was too great for Rome to bear. The Senate dispatched its elite consular legions to blockade and starve out the rebel strongholds. After a brutal, grueling campaign, the gates of Enna were breached. Eunus was captured and thrown into a dark Roman dungeon where he was left to die. Yet, the fire Eunus breathed in the hills of Sicily had already ignited a political wildfire that would never be put out. The massive economic and military shock of the Sicilian War exposed the fatal rot at the heart of the Republic, the displacement of free peasant double farmers by vast, slave-run estates. It was this exact crisis, laid bare by Eunus's rebellion, that inspired the young, idealistic reformer Tiberius Gracchus in 133 BC. Gracchus launched a historic, highly contentious crusade to seize public land from the rich and redistribute it to the poor. This monumental political battle split Rome's ruling class in two, initiating the long, violent century of civil strife that would ultimately destroy the Roman Republic and pave the way for the rise of the empire. Eunus's kingdom of the liberated fell, but the spark he struck proved that even the most powerful empire on earth could be brought to its knees by those who had nothing left to lose but their chains.